Toby. Ooh, hey.
Ooh, hey. What's that?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
It's the Jimm
and Dave.
Beer
and Steve,
Review.
Beer Review.
Yeah.
With Steve as a co-host. We can put them all together. Then we got to do this all over
All right,
again.
let's do it all over again. Ready?
Okay.
Hey, everybody. It's
Jimm
and Dave.
And Steve.
Beer
Beer
Review.
Review.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey.
Exactly. Worked the second time.
Right. You think we work this all out ahead of time?
Exactly.
So let's talk about beer. This is the sour beer review. Dave is our our guest reviewer is our sour lover, connoisseur. So that's why he's our guest reviewer for these 4 beers we're doing from Belgium, if I do say that correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, it's called the Brouwerij or something like that.
And it comes from somewhere in Europe. I don't know where. Just
it comes from like one of those countries where you can't understand what they're saying because they're too rude to learn
blah,
English.
blah, blah, blue, blue.
They're all like,
gonna do well
they're all
here.
like hurty, gurty, burty, flirty, slurty. No, wait, that's Sweden. I'm sorry. It's somewhere between the bibbidi bobbidi and
bobbidi-boo.
the Americans. Why did you all eat the French fries? But anyway, I think it's called Belgium. So, do we have any information about this beer?
Yeah, so we're not going to butcher the language here. It's a real cherry beer, as the name suggests, manufactured with real fruit of cherries instead of the flavor enhancers and extracts of cherries.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly. The fruit is sourced from Belgium, and unlike most famous fruit beers, it's not a lambic. It's actually a West Flemish brown ale aged in oak wood and with cherry added.
More oak
Echt
wood.
Kriekenbier.
If you want even more details, apparently around mid-July at the picking, the northern cherries are brought in the brewery and laid at the base beer. Because the taste of cherry fruit varies from year to year, it's actually brewed and mixed with a couple of other beers. So it's actually mixed with 2-year-old and the year before.
That seems to be a recurring thing in a lot of these beers that this particular brewery makes, is that they will have a vat and they'll mix older batches with newer batches so they can get a consistent flavor throughout.
Yeah, they often do that with when you're brewing scotches and ale and stuff like that too.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So what's also interesting about it is that I think they do a lot of open vats, and so they're oak, but the oak has got a lot of the different, say, critters, bacteria, different yeast and stuff. So
That's a preview.
you smell it already?
Yeah, I just did.
All right. Well, first we look at the color.
It don't look right. I tell you what,
it's
it
opaque,
just don't look
but
right.
it does have a certain
There's a redness into it.
redness to it. I don't know, yours looks redder than mine for some reason. That's kind of weird. Maybe you got a little more.
This
It's
looks
okay.
kind of dirty to me. I don't know.
It's a dirty,
Dirty
it's a
beer.
dirty Kriekenbier.
Oh, good lord.
It definitely has the scent from this brewery.
Yeah.
Very vinegary. again.
This also has a vinegary thing. It also has a little sweetness that I believe is the cherries.
All right,
All right, guys, let's do a little cheers.
let's
here.
do this.
Let's jump right into it.
There
Do
we
this.
go.
There you
Yeah.
go,
Cheers.
people.
Ooh, hey, there's that clench you were looking for earlier, Dave.
Nope, didn't have it for me.
Really?
Nope.
I definitely had my lower eyelids went up higher than usual, so that's a good sign of a sour for me.
I thought that was a Donald Trump thing. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. You're fired.
This is
This is the sour. I do sours better than anybody. Sorry, no, I'm not gonna do that.
Please don't.
A, I'm not orange, and B, like half the country will hate me apparently. So,
And the rest of the world.
especially Iraq.
Oh,
It's just like,
oh no,
oh.
Iran.
No, instead of killing that guy, I should have sent him some of these sours, and they would have been made best friends then. They would have been like, take a sip of this, and they would have been like, by Allah.
6.8 ABV.
Well, I like it.
Okay.
How to describe the flavor? So it's not as vinegary as the Duchesse de Bourgogne, but it still has a lot of very similar characteristics. The cherries, you don't get like, say, a candied cherry flavor or even a cherry if you ate a cherry because of the sourness, but it definitely has an underlying sweetness, which I think balances out the sour quite nicely. So I think overall, if I had to give this a number in terms of the flavor, I probably would give it a 7 out of 10.
I'm going to agree. In this series of sours, very vinegary again, unlike some of the American sours, which are much more fruit forward and puckery.
Yeah, very puckery.
This doesn't have that. This is a little higher in the ABVs. We had 6.8 versus 6. I'm enjoying it, but I kind of agree with you. I don't think it was good as the Duchesse. The cherry note is more of a hint than a note almost to me. But otherwise, I would agree with the 7.
Well, what I also find interesting is that the dishes we had was past its expiration date, but this has expiration date of June 2020. So I almost wonder if it's worth saving some out of this 12-pack I bought and maybe aging it a little bit and see how the flavor changes, because obviously it's probably still has yeast in it. It's probably a living beer, and maybe much like the Bourgogne, it will mellow. Well, but who knows? Dave, what are your thoughts on the flavor?
It feels more like a wine than a beer. Okay, it doesn't taste very sour to me at all. It didn't make my teeth clench. It didn't give me that feeling. It's just like it feels like some wine.
Wine in like a tangy way?
Yeah, tangy. Yeah, a tangy way. But I don't really. It's like I'd give this like a 6. There you go. Back to my 6s again.
Oh, that's okay.
But that's a 6 on your sour scale, right?
That'd be a 6 on my sour scale and like a 5 on my drinkability scale, I guess.
So you'll finish it then?
I'll finish it. Yeah, I'll finish
Very
it.
nice. All right, well, there you have it. 2 7s and a 6. Very nice. If you like sours, I recommend you try this. Quite frankly, anything that's a Flanders, a red ale, a brown ale that is aged in these oak barrels and these old open fermentation traditions, they're definitely worth trying. So I would say, if you're in Belgium, definitely go stop by the place. I found a couple videos on YouTube of people who were stopping by. I was just like, oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I was doing that. So, but it helps if you, I guess, if you go and some of them speak the language. But a lot of the major cities, they do support
Very small
English
spaces
tourists,
out
so.
there, Jim, and they're in Amsterdam and stuff. And all those Belgian places.
Absolutely. Well, I've
All
been
the
to different
buildings are
European
small.
cities like Paris and Berlin, and I gotta say that, or even Budapest. And if you're in there, and I walked into a Burger King, believe it or not, at one point, and I started like trying to say the number. They're just like, "Hey, English-speaking person, come over here and talk to this English speaker, please." So somebody else came and took my order. It was kind of cool. But you can generally get by even if you don't speak the local
And
language.
it's just that their buildings and all that are so much smaller, and their doorways are
Well, a
smaller.
lot of them are
Ceilings
older,
smaller, and they're all being smaller in there, man. Seriously.
Actually,
The
I think it's just a weird.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's that way in England too, man. If you notice, half the buildings in England, man, it's like meant for like skinny people that are short.
Well, I think that back then they taxed you if you had a certain width of a building. So
You wonder how they move furniture in there, with how wide the hallways are and everything.
yeah. So there you have it. Listen, we're going to be doing more sour, so check back on
Yay!
this channel
Yeah.
for Dave's
Two
All
thumbs up. Wait a minute, people, give me another thumb. I need another thumb for my third thumb up. I don't have a third thumb up. See, I told you.
Dave has a third thumb up his butt. Okay. Hey, listen, everybody. I'd like to end it by doing the Surgeon General's general description, which says that women who are pregnant should not drink alcoholic beverages due to the risk of birth defects.
Right.
You should not operate heavy machinery or drive a vehicle if you're under the influence of alcohol. And of
Sure.
course, excessive drinking can cause health problems. I mean, just look at me. I'm falling apart. And the reason we try these different beers, we believe that you, our viewers, should drink great beer.
And have a good laugh to your friends. And
Be our
please
friends. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs down.
No, I know.
And
You
comment
do both.
below.
Yes, there you go.
And we'll see you next time
Yes.
on the Jim and
Absolutely.
Dave beer review.
With Steve.
It's
With Steve.
Steve's the guest.
He's got 2 more to go.
2 more. We'll get this right by the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And much like on Lost, I'd like to end by wow.